Okay, my name is Sérgio Fernandes dos Santos Júnior, RA 17 15 10 22 92. Okay, today you are going to speak a little bit about the effort models interpretation. We are going to start speaking about the challenge for the interpreter to do an interpretation because because performance problems happen all the time, not only in very difficult interpretations, but sometimes happens every time we are not prepared. Even in slow speeches where we're supposed to have a clean interpretation. Uh, these errors are committed even for experienced interpreters. Sometimes in the first segment of the interpretation, they do correct, but when becoming the second or third part of the interpretation, they start to do wrong. Why is that? Sometimes because the fatigue, sometimes because the varied interpretations on the role. That is a phenomenon who happens all the time. When you do an interpretation, one, two, three, four interpretations, you get fatigue. Then you start get errors. So now we are going to understand a little bit more about the processing capacity interpretation efforts. For we do a good interpretation, we must have a lot of concentration and focus on that. Probably will take all the energy and patience you have because it is very stressful. When the all the energy and the focus are gone, then where starts the errors. So you need to keep calm and take only the energy you need for do the interpretation. So if you overload your brain, the chances of the make a mistake will be a lot bigger. After various studies about the cognitive psychology has been discovered that we human beings are not automated people. We are no automate. So we have to think before we interpret anything. Because for that interpretation, we need a lot of training for making the text more easy for us. Now we're going to speak about simultaneous interpretation. So the simultaneous interpretation, in the simultaneous interpretation, we can observe that we have three main component efforts. First component is listen in analysis of the speech. The second component, we have to produce the speech in your mind. In the third component, you need have a very good short memory. The listening in the analysis of comprehension effort is when you receive the information from your ears and then you understand, make a comprehension of the words. If you have to consider all the words, the sentence, and get used a different types of phonetics in a different types of people who have different accents. So we need to know the structure of the language for the interpretation. We need to really focus on the meaning of the sentences, not only comprehensions of the words. We need knowledge to understand all terminology in the speech. Because if you don't understand what we listen, how we gonna tell for the other people in another language? So we're gonna now speak a little bit for the production effort. Like you already know, we need listen to. Then we need to understand and we need make the speech in your mind. Then we need to say loud the speech we make in your mind. For the other people know the translation, right? And this is a very difficult process. Uh, First, we need to take notes, and we need to have a lot of focus because without the notes, the challenge of the translation will be a lot more difficult. All the times you have to rearrange the context because the orator sometimes uses cliches in phrases who need to be rearranged for the other language. For better interpretation in the original language, so we need to make a new sentence. Sometimes we need also make addition of words at the phrase for better understand. Also, you need to talk about the memory effort. Short memory is a no automatic operation, so we need to practice all the time a short memory because it's very important for the whole process because we have a small chance for repetition, so we need to think fast and having also memory. Now we're gonna talk about a little bit about an effort model of simultaneous interpretation. Uh, as we see, we need to coordinate all the efforts for we make a good interpretation. We need to understand and listen. Also, we need the short memory. Then we make the analysis of the listening and make the speech for the people. For this, we need some techniques like notes and get used to make assumptions on the matter. And now, and know the I'm sorry, and know the subject matter. We also need a extra linguistic anticipation because if you will anticipation what is going to be said, that will make more easy for us to interpret. For a successful consecutive interpretation, we need follow this sequence. First of all, listen the analysis. Then, take notes. Use the short memory operations coordinations in your mind. You need coordination, all the ideas, and make the new sentences for for the interpretations. Then have a second part of everything. You need remembering what you have listened. Then you read the notes you make and finally the production of the interpretation orally. And now you have to going to speak about the efforts inside translation. Okay. The site translation techniques consists of reading a source language text aloud in the target language. So we get a text, then you read loud in the target language. For this type of translation, we need a reading effort. We need to know the meaning of the text. If you have the opportunity of read the text before I start the real reading aloud, you'll be a lot easier. But if you have to go straight to the reading in the interpretation, we need to have a lot more focus in the reading. And after read, we need to make a constructions of the translation in your minds, following the interpretation allowed for everybody. We also have a simultaneous interpretation with texts. What is that? That's when speakers read a text which has also been given to the interpreters. That mix make the interpretations a little bit more easy for everybody, because in that way everybody have the text. After we see all efforts, we also super important know the responsibilities of a good interpretation. We also discovered that we need a lot training also to get used all different kinds of interpretation, using the techniques more appropriate for each kind of interpretation. The capacity of the individual are different between them. In for we get better is very in for we get better is very important that we have a solid training and a lot persistence on the matter. It's about that. Thank you very much. That's all, folks.